There it is. There it is. Nobody chair dances like Brooklyn chair dances. and, with, and with that, it's Thursday. We're a little earlier than we are normally on Thursdays. My son has a baseball game, and there's the train. But we also are responding to some breaking news. Welcome to the Joe and BDD show. Hi, Brooklyn.
Welcome to you and to me. What a wonderful day.
Yes.
Indeed.
It is a wonderful day indeed. And you know what? Todd Blanche is a bad person. And for now, this is a bad person being in charge of an office that is very consequential. But for the moment, let's put up the post, Sam. What did Piggy say? As I grab my glasses. Pam Bondi is a great American patriot and a loyal friend who faithfully served as my attorney general over the past year. Pam did a tremendous job overseeing a massive crackdown in crime across our country, with murders plummeting to their lowest level since 1900. Probably not true. We love Pam, and she will be transitioning, this is my favorite part, to a much needed and important new job in the private sector to be announced at a date in the near future. And our deputy attorney general and a very talented and respected legal mind, Todd Blanche, my former personal fixer, will step in to serve as acting attorney general. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Jackass. Bye, Pam.
Thank you for your attention to this matter. And let me say, I am so glad that she's gone. And it might be a superficial reason why. Like, yeah, obviously, she was a horrible attorney general, but my superficial reason why was her voice, was her cheerleading. Like, in that position of attorney general, I don't want a politic. I don't want a cheerleader. I don't want someone saying Donald Trump is the best president we've ever had. No, I just go after the bad guys. Okay. We don't care if you're arresting Democrats or Republicans. We want you going after those pedophiles and those child sex offenders, like the ones who were pardoned. There were so many January 6th rioters who were pardoned and then just recently convicted of child sex offenses. And it's unreal. It's almost like that was a prerequisite for showing up to January 6th. Wait a minute. You have a child porn collection?
I'm shocked.
All right. You can show up then. All right. Yeah. You can join us.
I'm shocked at how many of them ended up being pedophiles. It's not the drag queens. It's not it's not the people reading in libraries. It's not the trans kid on your softball team. It's MAGA. It's Trump supporters. It's them every freaking time. I mean, Trump's the other guy, that one advisor that was convicted and sentenced to raping a 12-year-old, was just released from prison, I believe, yesterday.
After 6 months, was it? Was it?
Yeah. Yes, correct. 6 months. You can rape a 12-year-old child, and you'll get out as long as you're friends with Donald Trump after 6 months. But that boils us down, though, with Pam Bondi. She was a pedophile protector. That is what she did. That was basically her job description at this point, was to run interference for people who sexually assaulted children, because that's what she was doing. And the thing is, like, she did everything in her power to oh, did you just get a delivery of a coffee from a loved one?
It's so good.
That was so sweet. I was touching that handoff, and I was wondering, I know you don't have like a staff of people waiting on you hand and foot, but you have someone who loved you and brought you I don't, but it's okay. I'll pretend. Thank you. Oh, thank you for that. So sad. But I do have a funny email that I had to send my daughter's teacher that I'll tell you about in a minute. But I know I've lost my train of thought entirely while your coffee was distracting. Yeah. She's a terrible person, but he's not going to find anybody else to do more terrible things. She went after all the people he asked her to. She tried to prosecute Comey. She tried to prosecute Letitia James. I love this picture. I'm sorry. This is like a hilarious picture of her. It just makes me happy that it's so bad, and she looks like she's performing fellatio. I'm sorry, but it's just hilarious. But she's a terrible, horrible, evil, depraved, amoral, indecent, disgusting person who has enabled and emboldened the worst of Donald Trump's instincts. She's also crooked. She's turned our Department of Justice into Donald Trump's personal, law firm for
But the
retribution.
Dow was 50,000.
Yeah. 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 Well, let's put that graphic up. How's the Dow doing?
So I sent this to Sam because it's hilarious, right? You see that orange line there?
Yeah.
That orange line is when the Dow hit 50,000 and when Pam Bondi made her remarks. And it's almost like I kind of like secretly feel like Trump fired her not because she screwed up in a congressional hearing, not because, she's not catching enough bad guys. It's because when you said that thing, then the Dow went down and it hasn't gone back up. You jinxed us. You're fired.
Yeah. Well, he really doesn't like the optics, right? Like we were talking about this with Noam too. The optics for the lipstick on the pig isn't doing the job being the lipstick on the pig. So you go out there
Mm,
and you're not putting that lipstick on that pig, and you got to go. That was their usefulness, to soften his awfulness, right? To give it a feminine face, and like, oh, they're ladies. It's like, you see a strange van coming down the road and you're walking alone as a woman, and you're like, oh, there's a woman in the van. I'm okay. Like that's the kind of thing that they enabled, and they didn't do that so well. They put kind of a target on their own backs, and the usefulness of them versus how they undermined and damaged him with their public spectacles. Eventually, they got to go. But also, it's not shocking at all to me that the next name on the list is Gabbard. It's not shocking that it's been women. Pete
mm.
Hegseth shared classified war plans in a Signal chat with a reporter. He's still got a job. He was friggin' investing before the war on
Yep.
shit related to the war. He's still got a job. Howard Lutnick was all the fuck over the Epstein files, and he said he cut ties with him and hasn't. Howard Lutnick still has a job. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Like,
hmm.
Stephen Miller is arguably less popular than Christy Noam and Pam Bondi combined, and no one likes those fucking people,
Well,
but he still has a job.
Steve Miller's less popular than Lice and right?
Yeah. I mean, apologies to Lice, but
Yeah.
yes. Lice, well, actually, yeah. Yeah, and here we go. Trump has been asking cabinet officials in recent weeks whether he should replace Tulsi Gabbard as DNI, venting frustration about her leadership and that she shielded Joe Kent, the former deputy who undercut his rationale for war with Iran. We know that she had an expiration date. She, first of all, another person who sold her whatever semblance of a soul she had to work in
Mhm.
this regime. But is it any surprise to anybody that an adjudicated rapist who bragged about sexual assault and calls women dogs would be firing the women that he appointed? Pam Bondi was also not his first pick because that was another child rapist, Matt Gaetz.
So here's how I feel about Tulsi Gabbard. I was actually surprised that she she did correctly assess the situation in Iran and reported that Iran was not an imminent threat. Now, this was
Mhm.
obviously before we went and did the excursion in Iran and started, bombing little girls' schools. But here's the shocking thing, right? She didn't throw him under the bus the way Christy Nome did. She kind of held the line when she was in front of Congress, both the
Yeah.
House and the Senate. She did that stonewalling thing where she had like a list of set responses that can neither confirm or deny the question that you were asking her to answer, and they were
Mhm.
all asking her, was the president briefed on the Strait of Hormuz, whether it was going to be closed down? Was he briefed on whether Iran was going to attack all these? And she was like playing dumb. So she did, so to speak, hold the line, as criminals do, refuse to rat out their
Mhm.
boss. But he still fired her. And so I think it's interesting the point that you're making about the fact that he appears to only be targeting women in his administration when the guys are horrendous. Pete
Yeah.
Hegseth easily is the worst person, not only just to serve as a cabinet member, but like, I wouldn't hire that dude to be the assistant manager of a McDonald's, or I wouldn't hire him to handle my garbage.
Yeah. He's not fit to replace the urinal cakes at a truck stop on the Oklahoman Panhandle at 3 in
Ooh,
the morning. Okay.
that's so specific.
Oddly specific. slight obsession with the Oklahoman Panhandle. I mean, what goes on there? What goes on there? This is also Chef's Kiss. Pam Bondi reportedly begged, oh, to be a fly on the wall. Begged SNL, please. Paging SNL, Pam Bondi reportedly begged to keep her job in an intense showdown after being accused of an unforgivable offense by Trump. Bondi allegedly leaked details of a pending document released to Democrat Eric Swalwell about his relationship with alleged Chinese spy. Don't believe that for 1 second, by the way. Why the
No.
fuck would she do that? But here,
Yeah.
let's role play, Brooklyn, because you have a Trump impersonation and I don't.
All right.
Fire me.
What? Oh,
Fire me, daddy. Fire me. Sorry, did you wear this is hot. You did not expect to get this kind of role play at 2:21 in the afternoon, I guarantee you, folks.
Pam, I'm very disappointed in you. I didn't expect this. I'd expect this from anyone else other than you. I'm very disappointed at what you did. What did she do again? she, um, you, um, hmm, you made the Dow go down when it should go up. That's wrong. I can't believe it. No one has ever seen a thing like this, Pam. What's wrong with you?
But please, I have nothing without this job. I'll do anything. Wait, sorry. Have we killed a bit?
Will you get me a cheeseburger?
I'll do anything. Who do you want me to go after next? You want me to go after Joe and Brooklyn Dad Defiant? You want me to indict them? You want me to go after them for defamation?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's just not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it. There's nothing I can do. It's beyond my control.
And scene.
And scene.
Oh, God. You know, to be a fly on the wall, I don't believe that bullshit about her leaking something to Eric Swalwell. I mean, we got to get Swalwell on the show, but I don't believe that. Why the hell would Pam Bondi leak something to Eric Swalwell? That's just the thing is, we were talking about, I just had Ron Filipowski on the pod. There's so much wagging the dog bullshit leaking that's coming out of this regime.
Ooh, wait. Before we move off from her, I just wanted to say this one thing, right? That I totally believe. I don't know about the whole Eric Swalwell thing, but I do believe that she was begging.
I believe that too.
Because she has conducted herself in such a shameful way. It's almost like she just went for broke. Like, this is the only job I'm ever going to have for the rest of my life. So it doesn't matter. It's like when somebody makes a decision to act crazy at a party, it's like, I'm not going to see any of these bitches again. So yeah, I'm gonna take my top off and I'm gonna grind that dude up against the wall. You know, like when they go for broke because they know nothing they do after this thing is gonna matter anymore. I think that's why she begged, and I'm so glad that. Thank you for sharing that, because that makes my day just a teensy bit better.
Yeah, and the thing is, again, we know that whoever it is that gets this spot, if it's Todd Blanche, he is arguably worse than her in many, many ways, right? Like, again, this is someone who is, by the way, very good friends with Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney, which helps to explain a lot of the maneuvers there to get her into a club fed, which Todd Blanche is personally responsible for. He moved Ghislaine Maxwell to the club fed, where she now has access to a puppy and the internet, and she has people waiting on her hand and foot. Whoever replaces her, whether it's Lee Zeldin, which is hilarious, or Jeanine Pirro, which I don't believe it would be, but or if it's Todd Blanche, they'll be bad.
I heard Eric Schmidt.
I had heard that too, and that's bad. That's really bad.
Like a Christian nationalist?
Yes.
Or something?
Yeah. From Missouri AG. And our friend Jess Piper, friend of the show, friend of the Siren, she knows a lot about this guy, and she's been warning about him. He's got Dan Bingo Bongo's spot for the moment, but the word on the street is that he was promised something bigger. And unless Cash gets fired, which the bigger could be this, so we'll see. But he's not good. He's bad, very bad. But the thing is, about as bad as anybody will be, that it could be Matt Gaetz, for all we know, but they won't confirm him either. Yeah.
Matt Gaetz, I hate to say it, would have probably been better than Pam Bondi. I hate to say it because he is Matt Gaetz after all, but
Yeah,
Pam Bondi was just that awful.
terrible. This is the thing. I really
Wow.
honestly like. I think for so many of us who watched that last hearing that she participated in, where she was just god awful. I mean, it was like stapling jello in terms of just getting her to not be
Oh, that's
fucking
good.
awful. Like every answer was so smarmy and
Ugh,
sanctimonious and
ugh.
just like dripping with condescension and yes and beyond reproach, and the fact that she wouldn't acknowledge the survivors, the Epstein survivors, not once but twice, and the fact that she had all this oppo research on people who are their job and
Yes.
having oversight over her job. It was hard to watch. I felt like I wanted to punch something or throw something out a window because she was just so icky and like full of herself and rude and
Yeah.
nasty, and like you
Yeah.
want the universe to punish people like that. She's everything I ever told my kids not to be. And it's like, my god, she has the most powerful position as an attorney in this entire country, and this is a terrible person. So I am very glad that she's gone.
Mhm.
I'm not happy that someone else probably worse is going to get that spot, but at least for the moment she found the fuck out. And if that's reaches the threshold of what makes me happy these days, then so be it.
Um, yeah, I also kind of think the other reason, and I could be wrong, but I think the reason that Pam Bondi was fired and that they're talking about there are murmurs of Tulsi Gabbard being fired, all this chopping block stuff, is to possibly distract from his horrendous handling of the war and his just like disastrous speech last. Did you see that speech? His
Um, did
the
I see it? Yeah. Well, I watched Aaron Rupar's clips because I can't like constitutionally can't like turn my TV on intentionally wanting to see his lips move. But Aaron is so good
he's
about
great.
clipping and running the clips. He had those clips so fast last night. It was almost like
Yeah.
watching it in real time.
Yeah.
So good. So I watch his clips on Twitter is how I received that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was he
Insane.
was I've seen I hate to admit it because now it makes me sound like I do have TDS, but I have seen all of his speeches. Um
Mhm.
because I'm a politics nerd or geek or
Yeah.
whatever, and I do pay attention to that stuff, but also, you know what? I miss the days when I didn't give a shit about what the president had to say. It was like,
Yeah.
I'll read about it in the news tomorrow, that kind of thing. But with
Mhm.
him at the helm, you never know. So everybody was kind of pontificating on whether or not it was going to be an announcement about whether he was going to leave NATO,
Yeah.
whether he was going to commit ground troops,
Yeah.
whether it was going to be some actual groundbreaking news that was
Mhm.
everybody like, oh my god, he just said this. But no, it was just like just a kind of rehashing of bullshit that he talks about during his regular press briefings. That, dude, this could have been a Truth Social post, or it could
Yeah.
have been a tweet or an email. Come
Yeah.
on.
No, it was very, very strange. Like he was incoherent, he was slurring, he
Yeah.
was hunched. It was really weirdly lit where it was super, super dark, like on his face.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was not there was nothing about it, to say the very least, that was presidential, right? But it was a prime time address. And when the president of the United States says he's delivering a prime time address when we're in a war, whether or not it's, approved by Congress or not, people pay attention. And
Yeah.
so the networks carried it. And a lot of folks who don't consume news like you and I do, or everybody who's awesome and in this chat where we're really plugged in and engaged, a lot of folks do not consume their information that way. And they only get it from legacy media, or if it interrupts Survivor. Let's be honest,
Mhm.
right? Like then they're in the middle of watching Jeff Probst, like asking somebody to eat a century-old egg, and they're like, "Wait, what the fuck?" And then the next thing they're like, "What's this cooked shrimp that looks like Tan Mom? What's he rambling about World War I for? What? Oh, yeah, is this about that war? Does anybody know why we're at that war? Wait, what? no, 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 what are we doing over there? Wait, why is he saying we're the hottest country in the world? Honey, how much was the gas to fill up the tank today? Oh, the
Mm,
F-150 was $145. Why is he saying everything's going so well here, honey? And why does he look like shit? Like,
yeah,
what he did was he put himself and the degradation that we see every day, that we talk about every day, about how he's sliding and he's getting worse and he's not well and
yeah.
he's slurring and he's confused. He put that in front of a lot more people who maybe haven't even seen him since the run up to 24 because they're not dialed in. You know what I mean? Maybe the last time they saw him, here we go. There's the lineup: 8 to 10, 9. I mean, 8 to 9 Survivor, 9 to 9:20 his address, back to Survivor, and then I don't know what America's Culinary Cup is. I don't know what that is.
Cooking,
Oh, okay. It's like a competition. I don't know,
I
but
think so.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it cut into some CBS programming, cutting to I don't know what it cut into on NBC and
Well,
ABC.
all the major
Yeah,
networks were carrying it in addition to all of the cable news things, and that's
right.
usually, when presidents in the past have
Hmm.
made an announcement using all the networks. Usually, it was like a somber occasion. It wasn't like a political rally thing where he's
Right.
like where the president is denigrating his predecessor and all that stuff. No, it was like, my fellow Americans, I'm
Yeah.
here, I'm here to share some grave news with you. Or it's either like we got bin Laden, or we've just authorized a mission to do this, you know, and it's usually like a message like, let's pull together as Americans, and it's that kind of thing. And what he gave us last night, first of all, no justification
No.
for the war. We're a month into this thing, and we're still waiting to hear, why are we in Iran? Is it for regime change? Because you took the super old mellow Ayatollah out.
Mm.
You took Ayatollah NPR out, and
Yeah.
you put, Ayatollah Alex Jones in,
Yeah.
like he's 30 years younger and hates America so much more, so like,
Hmm.
so regime change, that's out. The degradation of their armed forces. Their armed forces were already degraded, like, by time. They had, like, their weapons were all outdated. They didn't have shit to work with. What they do have is a shit ton of drones and missiles, and haven't really done a whole hell of a lot to that. So what was the point? The oil, huh? He's ready to walk away from the Strait of Hormuz, leaving it closed, despite the fact that we supposedly obliterated them, completely annihilated them. We
Hmm.
won, essentially. We won the whole thing, but we also need the rest of the world to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, which was open
Hmm.
before we got there.
Right. This is hilarious. It's a war, it's not a war, right? Like we won it on day 1. We need 2 to 3 more weeks. We need 200 billion more dollars. We need our allies in Europe. We don't need our allies in Europe. We didn't even tell our allies in Europe, but if our allies in NATO don't show up to help us in this war that we started without telling them, then they don't show up for us. And what's Article 5 even for? Because they've never showed up for us, even though they have shown up for us. The only time Article 5 has ever been invoked after 9/11, they actually did show up for us when he was lying about helping remove rubble and bragging about his building being the tallest in lower Manhattan. That our NATO allies were showing up. But now it's their problem. And the way I described it this morning, I was thinking about this because it was like he makes the mess, he lights the fire, he fucks everything up, and then he expects other people to come in and clean it up. And if they don't clean it up, well, then he doesn't want their help anyway. And I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking, like, it reminds me of like when I was a waitress and I was working at this one restaurant where we always had lots of families come in, particularly on Sundays. And the kids would always have Cheerios. They always had Cheerios. Did you ever take your kids to restaurants with like bags of Cheerios? Because maybe they're not too little to eat the food, whatever. This happened all
No,
the time. The mom comes
but
in with a
I've
giant,
seen people do
yeah.
that. Yeah.
And man, can they launch these things? And the mom has this giant like freezer gallon bag of Cheerios, and her toddler's throwing them everywhere. He's throwing them on the floor. He's shoving them in the sugar cat. He's grounding them into like powder. He's throwing them at my other tables. I mean, my whole section was an absolute and utter disaster. And this kid just launched these things everywhere. And at the end, the mom giving them the bill, and the mom's like, "Thank you so much. I'm so sorry about the mess, but I'm so glad that I don't have to be the one to clean it up," and left. And when I tell you, it looked like a Cheerios bomb went off in my section. I was like, oh my God, this is going to take me hours. I'm not going to get new tables. It costs me money. It's the thing. Donald
Yeah.
Trump is
Yeah.
the toddler
Yeah.
in that scenario where
Yeah.
he's just throwing shit everywhere. And he doesn't have to clean it up. He's creating all these messes. You made this point. You're exactly right. The Strait of Hormuz was open.
Yeah.
I paid $4.16 for a gallon of gas this morning in New Jersey. That's what it costs here in stations where it was $1 less a year ago. He
Mhm.
makes all these messes. The whole world is paying for this war. He started without any justification, and they all know it. So they don't need to come to our aid to fix our problem, to put their troops in harm's way for a war we started and said we've already won and that only we could fix. I don't
Yeah.
blame them at all. But now all of this, like Nancy Pelosi said so many years ago, and she was absolutely right, just like she's been about so many things, all roads lead to Putin. And that is exactly what is happening right now. Because what does
Yeah.
Putin want more than anything in the entire world? For us to leave NATO, for NATO to fall apart. That's what he wants. And now
Yeah.
Donald Trump, who had long signaled that this is something he would do, because Donald Trump doesn't have the savviness to hide his worst intentions. He tells you.
Mm.
He
Mhm.
forecasts and telegraphs what he's going to do. We've long known he was going to do this. He's
Yeah.
also taken the sanctions off of Russian oil. That
Mhm.
benefits Putin. He let a Russian oil tanker go through to Cuba. That benefits Putin. All of this appears to be benefiting Vladimir Putin, and the American people are not stupid. And he didn't sell a damn thing to anybody last night. I'm sorry, but MAGA wasn't even defending that. They
Yeah.
couldn't.
Yeah, the thing I was most I was most shocked to see actually wasn't even from last night's speech. It was a speech that he made yesterday. It was bizarre. Not the one where he's pantomiming the boxing thing, which was bizarre in and of itself. But there's another speech he made that was shocking. And I don't know why it's not a bigger story right now, why people aren't making a bigger deal about it, because he basically said that the US cannot handle daycare. States should
Yeah.
be handling that, but we can't handle it because we're busy fighting wars.
Mm.
And then he said, Medicaid, Medicare, we can't handle that stuff. Like, what? What? Right?
Yeah.
Like, stop excusing the things that he says as that's just Trump being Trump. You know what? If Trump is going to be Trump and say this outlandish, crazy, nonsensical stuff, let him do that in a nursing home. Let him do that on a park bench somewhere. But
Yeah.
don't have him sitting in the seat of the most important, most powerful person, most powerful human on the planet, saying those things without some freaking adults, checking this fucker who's throwing his Cheerios all
Yeah.
around. Somebody step in. I mean, even Alex Jones, who is nobody's idea of somebody sane, but Alex Jones, who was solidly in Donald Trump's camp, brought up that that Trump is gone. Sam, do you have those remarks? That video?
Swell up 3 times the size they were before. That means heart failure. And he does look sick. And he does babble and, sound like the brain's not doing too hot. And so we just cut bait on Trump. We need to be sad about Trump. This is not funny. This is not good. But he's gone. And that's it. And all the people rallied around him. You can see Hegseth's freaked out. You can see the press secretary's freaked out. They're being loyal. They think it's the lesser of two evils. And okay, but I just, Trump needs an intervention. He needs to take some time off. We need to pray for Trump that the Holy Spirit touch his heart and loose him from whatever evil control he's under. I'm serious. And I think that's the answer. We need to pray for President Trump.
What? I don't think a break's going to do it, Alex, but it is interesting nonetheless to watch him grappling with the fact that what we all see with our own eyes and hear with our own ears about his.
We saw it a year ago, more than a year ago.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
And yet, All of them will tell you, I have it in my own replies. Oh, Joe, you were the one that said Biden was sharp as a tack when he couldn't even you name his own daughter and he didn't know where he was and he couldn't tie his own shoes. Bullshit, first of all. I've
Yeah.
been saying this also for years that he was still sharp as a tack. Moving slower? Yes. Older?
Yep.
Yes. Did he
Yep.
look older? Yes. Was he more feeble? Yes. The brain? The mind connection to what he was saying, 100% sharp as a tack. He's in better shape now with cancer, older than Donald Trump is right now. And
Yeah.
everybody sees what's happening with him. But again, and I don't know if you guys saw this, and I didn't send this to Sam because I forgot about it. But there's all these pictures of Trump's back yesterday and his backside, sadly. And there is something. There is
Oh,
something
I saw that.
undeniable. Yeah,
Something
Sam, if you
sticking
have
out,
time,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
yeah.
I've long been reading things where people have been speculating that there's some kind of device related to his heart and his blood pumping, and it would match up with what's going on his hand, with the aspirin regimen, etc. I think I've talked about this many times. I can't say who this was, but I had a conversation with someone who was involved with covering the first season of this shit show and knows for a fact that Trump then, back in 2017, mentioned his own heart condition and needing to get an MRI for his own heart condition and being concerned about
Yeah.
what all of that looked like off the
That's
record
neat.
with someone in 2017. So this person, by the way, I'm just going to say, is someone is absolutely trustworthy, and I would take them at their word 100%. So when they say that, I believe them.
It was somebody who had the inside track.
A little bit. And there's a funny story
Was
about.
it man or a woman?
I don't know. Yes, it was.
Was
I
it bigger than the bread box?
Yes, it was definitely bigger than the bread box. But
It was a
but
he.
I
Did he have facial hair? How tall is he? Where did he
yeah,
go to school?
it was Timothy Chalamet. Timothy Chalamet told me after he apologized for demeaning ballerinas that he had a conversation. No, I won't say more, but I will say that that's 2017, and that this person that
Wait,
he
was he a big burly guy with tears in his eyes?
Yeah, he kept saying, "Sir, how do you do it, sir?" He called him up crying.
I'm sorry.
Yes, it was actually, it was David Dennison. David Dennison called down. No, but I believe him. Also, the dementia symptoms. There's a great account. I don't know his name, but he's on Instagram and he pops up on my feed all the time. And he's a doctor, and he talks about how he deals with elderly patients with dementia, and he's chronicling Donald Trump's dissension into deeper and deeper into dementia. There was that whole Sharpie thing with that cabinet
Oh
filleting fest.
yeah.
He went off
Yeah.
for almost 5 minutes about Sharpie making special Sharpies with the White House and his signature on them, and
Yeah.
went off on a tangent, to say the least, for several minutes about that. And that was not true. None of it was true. Sharpie said he made it all
That's
up.
crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy how he lies about these things that are so easily fact checked, right? And it took almost no time to get to the bottom. What did he think he was gonna lie, make up this big grand lie, and that the people on the other end were gonna be like, yeah, sure, okay, he
Yeah.
said that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, like he told a lie about last night. The families, he said, the families of people who lost someone in Iran, right? Of the 13, he said every single family said finish the job. Dude, why would you say that when that is so easily verified and debunked? Why? Because now you look like an asshole, right? Who's lying about Gold Star families. Jesus.
Well, yes. And also, during a cabinet meeting, President Trump spent 5 minutes talking about a pen he was holding. He claimed a company gave him a deal to make Sharpies look more official. Sharpie maker Newell Brands said the conversation as Trump related it did not happen. I mean, again, yeah, easily fact checked. Same as last night, like you said, where he invoked the 13 heroes that have fallen in his illegal, unconstitutional war. And they came home. I think he talked about the dignified transfers, and he went to two of the three of them. He didn't go to all three. He skipped one entirely because he was at Mar-a-Lago. Right. And he used another one to fundraise off of a picture of a coffin. And invoking them last night, I think he thought gave him some emotional legitimacy. Oh, he cares so deeply. In that same breath where he's lying because one of the fallen, his father, has said that conversation never happened. I never
Yep.
said these things.
Mhm.
That they're lying. Hegseth started this where it's not true. It's disgusting and grotesque. He also said we have no inflation. He said that our economy is stronger than ever. We have $18 trillion in investment that no one seems to have
Bullshit.
seen. Right. And it was just
Those are
bullshit.
those are IOUs. Those are like
Yeah.
promises. Like, yeah, sure, I'll send you something. Like,
Yeah.
there's no signed papers or nothing. He keeps, yeah, no,
Yeah, like just like the tariff $2,000 checks that he was going to send everybody where he promised that. But let's play this daycare trip clip because I think you're right, Brooklyn. I think this needs to be a bigger deal. I think every Democrat needs to cut this as an
yeah,
ad
yeah.
because this says everything. This says it all. So Sam, can you play the daycare clip?
Because the United States can't take care of daycare. That has to be up to a state. We can't take care of daycare. We're a big country. We have 50 states. We have all these other people. We're fighting wars. We can't take care of daycare. You got to let a state take care of daycare, and they should pay for it too. They should pay. They have to raise their taxes, but they should pay for it. And we could lower our taxes a little bit to them to make up. But it's not possible for us to take care of daycare. Medicaid, Medicare, all these individual things, they can do it on a state basis. You can't do it on a federal. We have to take care of one thing: military protection.
Dirty son of a bitch. Oh, which by the way, speaking about states, did you see that Abigail Spanberger did some like monumentous shit the other day? I think I correct me if I'm wrong. I believe she passed something that makes childcare affordable in her state. This I literally saw it. I wish I had clipped it. I didn't.
Uh,
Maybe our buddy Sam will
maybe.
be fortunate enough
Yeah.
to find that.
My beautiful and amazing governor got more votes than any other governor in our state's history. Mikey Sherrill has in her budget a significant amount, I think in the B's, for
There it is.
childcare in this country.
Okay.
Democrats just passed paid sick and medical leave in Virginia. Every working Virginian will be able to take paid time off for illness, having a new child, or caring for a family member. I can speak to this personally, honestly, because we're one of the few westernized countries in the world where you're expected to go back to work like within 12 weeks.
Mm.
So I think I don't know if that's a state to state basis or if that's a federal thing, but like you're not
Wait, that
ready.
many?
What's
12
that?
weeks? I thought it was less.
It's 8 or 12. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah,
I don't
I
remember
thought
now
it was
because my
like
kids
I
are
thought it was.
teenagers.
I honestly thought it was 6 weeks. Yeah.
Anybody in the chat know?
Here in America, America don't give a shit about you having your baby.
No,
Unless
not
you're
at
like,
all. You're right.
unless
I
unless
think
you're
I was
at one
able
of
to
those
get
like
more.
unless you're at one of those firms that are like, Google or
Yeah.
one of those top tech firms that they, give you like 2
6
months
weeks.
of vacation
6.
and shit.
My
It is
my
6 weeks.
It's like how I forgot how much it hurt to have a C-section. I completely forgot how long I got paid leave. It's criminal. It's criminal. It's antithetical. It just doesn't make any sense. They're forcing you to go back to work your baby's still tiny and they need you and you need that bonding time and also you need to physically recover. It is 6 weeks. Yeah. Some companies do offer more. I somehow feel like I got 8, but I don't remember. It was different because I had different employers for my kids. But
The only
either way.
reason I know that is because people are constantly comparing us unfavorably to Europe. People in Europe, I'm not saying I want to move to Europe. I'm just saying, other regions and countries treat their workers a lot more fairly. Like in Europe, they have a much higher what's that, minimum wage.
Yeah.
They have they give you like 6 weeks or 2 months of vacation time. They have free healthcare. Well, obviously your taxes are higher, but still it's free healthcare.
They get au pairs in some countries where like they have a helper come home to your house, come to your house and help you with your newborn baby. Like, I believe that that's the way it is in France. Yeah. But the other thing about daycare, I'm not in a Medicaid, Medicare position yet in my life, but I can speak again to daycare, that it is absolutely obscene to me that in this country, you have to basically choose between staying at home, which you can't afford to do in this country, or
Right.
bankrupting yourself paying for childcare so you can go to work to bring nothing home because childcare is taking your entire paycheck. Like this is not sustainable, and it undermines our success as a nation because we're forcing people to make this impossible choice. We want more children, right? Like they want this domestic supply of infants, right? But they don't make it easy in any way, shape, or form for people to make that choice because, for instance, when I was working in education, I was making somewhere around $16 an hour before taxes when I left 7 years in. Yeah, I was actually below when I went to get a divorce. I was below what they like equate as the lowest.
Oh, wait, as a teacher?
I was a paraprofessional, so I was an aide for autistic kids. Yeah, and we were paid hourly. So when I went to get a divorce, they're like, "We have to bump up your pay because there's no pay level that actually meets how little you make."
Yeah.
But so, and when I first started doing it, I was in a different school than my kids, and they didn't align in time. So the school was like, "Okay, well, you can put them in our childcare here that's run by a charity, but it's $25 an
Oof,
hour."
that's more than you make per hour.
Right.
Yeah.
So what was my choice? What was I supposed to do?
Ugh.
And then the next year we went in full day with groups, cohorts, right? So I was a full day teacher during COVID, but my kids were virtual half the day. So I was back in this new situation where now my kids they weren't in school half the day and I
Mhm.
was. So it was the same scenario where it was like, "Oh, well, do you want to pay daycare? Oh, and give up all your pay and then some to what end?" But I
Yeah.
couldn't not work because you can't survive. Anyway, what Donald Trump is saying to all of us, because he covered it all, not just daycare, Medicaid, and Medicare, all Americans can screw off. Doesn't care. It's a
Mhm.
state problem. That's your problem, states, and raise taxes on them to pay for it, is what he also said, that the states should raise taxes.
And the obscene thing about that is that at the drop of a hat, in the middle of the night, out of nowhere, he'll make a decision that, we need to bomb Venezuela. Oh, we need to drop some bombs on Iran too. And like 12 days, they'll spend excuse me, they'll spend like $15 billion. And that
Yep.
$15 billion for that little short compressed period of time could have gone towards school lunches, could have gone towards the subsidies that were needed to extend people on the Affordable Care Act. It could have gone for cancer research. It could so many different things. So don't tell us you don't have the money to take care of our own citizens instead of bombing people across the ocean for what? Because they're saying debt to America. Man, they've been saying that shit since I was a little. I was wee. I remember them saying "debt to America" in 1979.
Yeah.
Oh, big scary debt to America. What about North Korea? North Korea actually has nukes, and freaking Kim Jong-un, before he sent the beautiful love letter,
Yeah.
was saying some pretty outlandish shit. So you mean to tell me you can make a deal? You can make nice with Kim Jong-un, but you can't make nice with Iran? I thought you were the art of the deal guy. What
Yeah.
happened to that?
Right. Not to mention, we gave $40 billion to Argentina. We had $40 billion to give to Argentina. And
Keep forgetting about that.
right, we
Shit.
gave this massive tax break to the richest of the rich in this country, which is, yet again, more money we're
Yeah.
not taking in. Like, we have money for days when it comes to war. We have money for days when it comes to foreign adventurism, but we don't have money to take care of our own. And it just makes so much sense to me that when you
Yeah.
take care of your own, it alleviates so many other problems. You got a problem with crime. The reason you got a problem with crime is because you're not taking care of your own. People don't want to resort to crime. People don't want to have to steal things. People don't want to have to rob people. People don't want to do that inherently. I mean, unless you're Donald Trump and you're just a fucking sociopath and you enjoy it and you get your little teeny tiny mushroom peen gets like all not less smushy. But on average, most people don't want to be criminals. They resort to these things because they don't have any other avenues, because things are they're not being helped. They can't get help. And he's taking more and more of those things away. It's just completely opposite of logic and rational thought. But also, thank you, Donald Trump, for saying this out loud. Thank you for saying out loud what you believe, which is we're on our own. We're more interested in these foreign wars, which again, somebody put in the chat earlier that MAGA is starting to wake up. The Alex Jones thing, we've seen Megyn Kelly, Nancy Mace, etc., a lot of other people moving away from him on the war issue. This is really cornerstone stuff for a lot of his hardline supporters. This was a promise they fundamentally believed he would keep, not starting any new foreign wars, getting us out of foreign wars, not fighting wars for other countries. And that has absolutely not been the case. And this one in particular, that is driving up costs and killing our farmers and making everything more expensive and harder for us here. I think that this is a really, really big one for them, because they're like, this is not at all what you promised. It's a betrayal. And we need to use that word too. He doesn't care about you, and he's betrayed you. And we have to ask the question every day: are you any better off today than you were 2 years ago? You're not. Well, I can't think of one thing where anybody in MAGA world can actually tell me they're better off.
Joe, I actually think you're onto something there with that phrasing in particular, the word betrayal, right? And you keep twisting that knife, keep driving that wedge, because that is essentially what it is. Like, you don't have to convince the rest of us. We already know how shitty he is. It is that 30% of MAGA, which he somehow inflated it to 100%, right? It's like he thinks he saw on TV 100% when they were saying 100% of MAGA supports them. But now in his stupid addled brain, he's like 100% of the universe loves Trump. But yeah, the word betrayal, and keep punching that card that Donald Trump promised you lower prices. He promised you accountability on Epstein. He promised you no new wars, and he broke those promises. He is costing you and your family money every single day. Look, I just got my hair cut, right?
Looks very nice.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that. But at the barbershop, people were talking about gas. They were talking about gas.
Yeah.
I kid you not. The discussion came up because I was talking about, getting a car for my daughter, because, she's now like dominating the vehicle ever since she got her license. Now she has a life and I don't. So
yeah.
But yeah, we were talking about gas prices and where's the cheapest gas station to go to, and I can't believe it's gone up so much in such a short period of time. I didn't ask who did you vote for. We were just all vibing on that same, gas is no joke.
No, that's the thing. You cannot make people feel a reality when it comes to their pocketbooks that they don't feel. No matter what. You can't piss down their backs and tell them that it's raining when it comes to their wallets, when it comes to filling up their gas tank. And if they're driving an F-150, it's $145 in the state of New Jersey right now to fill up your gas tank. You can't make that reality. You can't put a spit shine on that shit. People feel what they feel. And when you exacerbate it when you tell them that they're not feeling it. When you say things like he said last night on a very, very national stage on every major network, we're the hottest country in the world right now. When you say that to people who are, like you said, sitting at the barbershop going, I'll drive an extra 5 miles out of my way to get gas that's under $4 right now. They don't believe what you're saying, and you're insulting them now. And this is what he does. This is what he's always done. And if they were paying attention, they'd know this. He thinks they're all stupid. He thinks you're stupid. That's the bottom line. He thinks you're stupid. He thinks that he can perpetually tell you that things are better than they are, or when it was Biden that was in office, things were worse than they were. It's easier to sell that lie than to make people believe things are better than they are.
Hey Sam, can you pop up this? Somebody just put up Stephen Michaels 0812 says he just got an app called Upside because this was brought up in the barber shop, and I couldn't reach my phone at the time. But yeah, they were talking about this app called Upside. I can't verify it, but already two other people today were talking about it, so it's worth it to check it out.
And Ron Filipowski, like I said, he was just on the podcast. He follows these experts he was talking about in like the energy field world and gas and oil and all that stuff. And he said that they keep saying this is shockingly low for what is actually happening. They're like, there's going
What's
to be a
low?
moment. The prices. They're
Oh
all
no.
saying that there's going to be a moment when the reality of what's happening really hits, and these prices we're already seeing dollars higher are going to skyrocket from there.
Hmm.
Have you seen what they're doing in Europe? They're going to start grounding flights. They can't fly their planes. This is a global impact. All of this, the ripples coming out of this war that he waged without Congress, without making the case to the American people, without any pretext or rationale for, that sent 13 of our troops home that we know of in flag draped coffins. All of this is because of Donald Trump, and we're all paying the price. And my hair salon too. This was shocking to me because I'm pretty sure that the person in my hair salon does not align with me politically, and they were also talking about the price of everything. And the word that they used was they were promised lower prices. That was the word, was promised. And that promise, when he says promises made, promises delivered, he's lying. He's
Mhm.
not delivering on any of those promises, exactly like you said. None of them. And nobody's life, except for billionaires, the richest of the rich, none of us are walking around better off than we were a year ago. We're also less safe. This big bear threat that Iran has been for the last 47 years, we have arguably made them more pissed off at us than they already were before. We
Yeah.
today,
Yeah.
Israel bombed the newest person that was involved in the talks of some sort of peace deal or negotiations. They killed his wife, and they almost killed him.
Oh
We're pissing
shit.
off. We
A
bombed a
wait, a
school.
negotiator?
Yes,
Wait,
yes, yes. Israel bombed.
what
Yes,
sense is that? Oh,
the
because they
next.
don't want to
No,
negotiate.
they don't. They don't. My God, no. Netanyahu's just as bad as Trump. This is his friggin' wet dream to destroy Iran, to bring it back to the Stone Ages. I thought we were liberating them. Apparently, this Stone Age is a new way of saying liberate. Um, but yeah, no, there was a guy that they were negotiating with, and the Israelis blew up his house, killed his wife. He's in critical condition. So, like, good faith ish that we may have been establishing, we're going to create new terrorist cells, or what we've already seen and we've already talked about on this show, we're going to get these lone wolf attacks that they were radicalized by what is happening right now in Iran, in Lebanon, in the Gulf. We're going to have more of those. We're making ourselves so much less safe, and so much we have so much more to pay for and so much less return on our dollar in the last several months, let alone year, and it all falls directly in Donald Trump's lap.
You know what gets me about this whole thing, Joe, is that it was not this trip was not necessary. Like, we actually, Donald Trump loves to complain about the Iran deal, right? The Iran deal wasn't meant
Mm.
to be like a one and done. We never revisit this anymore. It was obviously meant to be a living document that you revisit, and now we re-up these commitments, et cetera, et cetera. Now you don't have that. So you took all of the restrictions off. They are now not compelled to abide by anything. So your
Mhm.
only answer, since you're bombing negotiators, since you that's how you do negotiating with bombs, your only answer is to perpetually bomb and bomb and bomb every year. You think, yeah,
Mhm.
they maybe they might be closer to they might be 2 weeks away from a nuke, so we got to bomb them again. So is this what you're going to continue to do? Are you going to continue to, is that it, or do you have to come up with, I don't know, some kind of deal with the Iranian people to allow inspectors in to inspect their materials and make sure that they're in compliance. That sounds familiar. I wish a
Hmm.
former president had come up with something like that.
Mm,
Of
yeah.
course, what's the alternative? Like just constant annual bombing. There's no other alternative.
Well, you've said it in the past about measuring twice and cutting once
Oh yeah.
versus and that sums up Trump in the reverse. He doesn't measure anything. He just takes out a machete and a can of gasoline and just, you know what I mean, just starts destroying everything without thinking about what's next.
Point, shoot, aim.
Right, exactly. And this
Yeah.
is the perfect example, which is why he never bothered to, but can't make a case when he goes in front of the country or the world for why we're there or what the status is or what we need to call this a win. When he keeps calling it a win, how he didn't expect them to close the Strait of Hormuz, how he didn't expect them to bomb our allies in the region. All of these things, anybody with a single firing synapse could have told you was going to happen.
Mhm.
He didn't have a strategy going in. He doesn't have a strategy for getting out. And the thing too, as we have, soldiers entering the field over there, I'm very, very, very concerned because
They
we
said
know
50,000. Did you hear that?
I heard that
50,000?
number. I heard that number. I don't know where that number is coming from, but I did hear 2 Marine expeditionary groups and maybe the 82nd Airborne. I don't, if anyone in the chat knows the 50,000 number, where that came from, but I did hear that too.
Yeah.
I'm very, very scared, Brooklyn, because this is a narcissistic, malignant, narcissistic sociopath who does not care about the loss of human life at all. And he's already demonstrated that many, many times. And I'm deeply concerned that we are going to have a mass casualty event that's going to be sending thousands, if not more, of our soldiers home in coffins. 50,000 troops are in the area. Yeah, he doesn't care. And he's like, we'll be out of this in 2 to 3 weeks. We'll be out of it when I say, by the way, he's only supposed to be authorized for 90 days. And I'm pretty sure we're almost at that point. But I'm worried about our military. I'm worried about people losing their lives. I'm worried about those families that are sending their children off to this war. The fathers, we've seen fathers of little kids.
Send
I'm
Baron. Send
right.
Baron.
I think they should send the 1,600 losers Trump pardoned and who attacked our capital. Send them. They want to fight for him.
Yep.
Send them. The commandos join 2,500 Marines and another 2,500 sailors who recently arrived in the region. Altogether, there are more than 50,000 American troops in the Middle East now, roughly 10,000 more than usual. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, those are, to him, they're just numbers. To him, it's like a game. They're props. They're toys. They're little toy soldiers. He doesn't care. He's never cared. He's called them suckers and losers. He stood at Arlington National Cemetery, sacred hollow ground, and asked a man who lost his son in war what was in it for them. He doesn't care. And I will ring this bell until the day that I die. And I'm going to try not to cry about this, but I will ring this bell until the day that I die. This is not a political issue. People should care this across the aisle. And just as a slight segue, the way that they're using our military right now should also scare the shit out of us because that little fucking stunt with the Apache helicopters buzzing over the No Kings protests. Yeah. Well, so first they buzzed over the protests in Nashville, which
I didn't know
can you
that.
imagine? Oh yeah, they did several flybys over the protesters at like really low altitude. Imagine how fucking scary that would be with Trump at the helm, and you're showing up to peacefully protest, and a freaking war helicopter buzzes over you. And then they did the flyby thing with Kid Rock, which obviously was coordinated. Obviously he knew about. But what scares me about that is Hegseth's response. The army did the right thing.
Punishment.
Here it is. I want my blood feels like it's going to boil. I feel like I'm going to cry. I know you guys know this about me. My dad spent almost 50 years at the Department of Defense. He was based on a military base here in New Jersey. I grew up going to the military base every single day, all day long, all summer long. We were there all the time. This is like all of my siblings have served. The military is so personal to me. They were investigated and they were suspended. pending an investigation for what they did. And if you guys didn't see it, I don't know if anybody hasn't seen it, but 2 Apache helicopters showed up at Kid Rock's freaking mountainside whatever house, and they were flying at the pool level, basically like while he was saluting them, and they were air high-fiving, and the whole display was just bizarre. But that's not what those helicopters are for. That's not what those helicopter crews are supposed to do.
Mhm.
And they should have been investigated. They should have been suspended. They were rightfully suspended. And then Pete Hegseth came in because it was for his guy. He loves Kid Rock. This is cool. And undid the suspension. Here it is. This is what happened.
Disgusting.
And for anybody who tells me to calm down about this, can you imagine if Joe Biden did that with Robert De Niro or Barbara Streisand or Kathy Griffin? If he sent
I love when people act, because I ask that question all the time, because we all already know the answer is they would never do that. Never.
right, right,
Never. They would not approve of that.
right. And so, like, the other part of this, this again, thank you, Kid Rock. U.S. Army pilot suspension lifted. No punishment, no investigation. Carry on. This last word is doing so much work. Patriots.
Yeah,
They
that's
are
right.
patriots in the Department of Defense Secretary's judgment. Those pilots and crews are patriots because they did something they were not authorized to do, but they did it for somebody he likes. Just
Probably
think,
very expensive too.
well, that too. We all paid for it.
Like
And
maybe
this,
$500,000 or something.
at least, and this is Greg Kelly, former helicopter pilot, I believe, Marine pilot. I'm not sure if it's a helicopter. He's an asshole. This is a Trumper. Put that
Greg
back
Kelly.
up, Sam.
Greg Kelly is a former, I think, New York City commissioner, police commissioner.
And
And yeah, he's a solid Trumper too.
And I think he was a Marine pilot. I'm not sure. I had heard that. I think Ron Filipowski tweeted about this. And he's damn right. What if they flew over Madonna's house and took a bow, or Robert De Niro, etc.? And this is important, that like you have to discipline people, pilots like that, for these unauthorized stunts. This is the military. They everything is about chain of command. Everything is about following orders. Everything is about structure. Everything is about discipline. What Hegseth is saying, and we've known this for a long time.
That
what
was a
Donald Trump
wild
is saying-
comment, by the way. There's a wild comment because that's a Newsmax host. Newsmax
Exactly.
is like Fox News, but on meth.
Yeah, exactly. Really, that's a good way to describe it. He
Yeah.
is no leftist, bleeding heart,
Oh,
lib.
no.
No, he loves Donald Trump. He absolutely loves Donald Trump. But the thing is, this should scare everybody. Nobody should want a politicized military. Nobody should want members of our military believing that as long as they follow out the orders of the people who as long as they do things the people in power want them to do, it doesn't matter if they're lawful. Remember, this is the same administration that tried to get Jeanine Pirro to arrest members of Congress for making a video reminding active military not to follow unlawful orders. That's it.
Yeah.
Not to follow unlawful orders because they want them to follow unlawful orders.
Yeah.
Period.
And let me just, I want to add two things. Well, I want to add one thing, but before I add that one thing, I want to say to Melissa McQueen, thank you, my friend, for the kind donation.
Oh,
Thank you so much. She is a longstanding Storytime with BDD, now the Defiant Weekly regular viewer. Thank you so much for that. I want to say to Yang, who messaged us at 309, he would want to know, can I watch this live stream on YouTube? And the answer is absolutely. Please do go to YouTube now. Hit the subscribe button and also the little bell. It's like that's a notification thing, so you know when we go live, which is every week on Thursday between 2 and 4, depending on what we got going on.
Yeah, today's a little different.
And yeah, so that you won't miss any of our stuff here. And what I wanted to say about Pete Hegseth is the fish rots from the head, right?
Mhm.
And Pete Hegseth, similar to Pam Bondi, is the worst. I would say he is by and far the worst cabinet member ever appointed to anyone's cabinet ever. He is
Oof.
horrible.
Should
Just
never been confirmed ever.
the whole litany of things that he has said, he is so inappropriate. He loves to brag that we're we're not woke. We don't abide by any silly rules. What do you mean, like rules of engagement? Dude, there's nothing silly about those. Those are what make us the good guys on the battlefield. Huh?
Yeah.
We abide by those because it matters. That's why international courts and they have all come up with these rules of engagement that separate you from the animals, from the savages, from the bad fucking guys, from the terrorists, right? Oh, we don't nothing holds us back. Well, it should, dude, because we are the United States military. We're not a bunch of paid mercenaries. We're not savages. At least I would like to believe. So
well,
yeah, that's why he needs to be removed. I wanted to ask you, what did you think it would take for Donald Trump to be removed before Democrats reclaim the House and the Senate? What would it take?
There's nothing. There's nothing.
There's got to
for
be
Republicans
something.
for Republicans to sign on with impeaching and removing him from office.
Yeah.
I don't think there is anything. I hate saying that. And Sam has to go in a sec, so we'll wrap kind of on this, but I wish that I felt differently about this because we have seen them move the line on things I never expected them to move the line on, right? Like they moved the line on bragging about sexual assault. They moved the line on mocking a disabled reporter. They moved the line on calling Mexicans rapists. They moved the line on an insurrection. They moved the line on him being a felon and an adjudicated rapist and a business fraud. They've moved the line on him destroying our economy. They moved the line. He ripped down a third of the White House, right? Like he's all over the Epstein files. No one will be able to tell you differently. They can't defend it, but they're still supporting and endorsing him. And now he's embroiled us in a foreign war that is sending the men and women of our military home in coffins. And then he used those pictures to fundraise off of. All of this while cozying up to Vladimir Putin, for whom he's rolled out a literal red carpet, which he used the men and women of our military on their hands and knees to do. I don't think there is a red line for Republicans anymore. I just don't. I think Thomas Massie and even Marjorie Taylor Greene, which is a shocking thing to say out loud, I think that they are, and Rand Paul, who also shocking to say out loud, I think that they are aware of how far afield things have gone. But I got to be real with you, friend. I don't think he can do anything. I think he could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue while bobarding Putin with one hand and shooting Betty White in the face if she was resurrected from dead, on Fifth Avenue while shouting "Death to America" and rolling off every abortion he's ever paid for, and Republicans would still move the line. There is no line.
Wow, it's a little bleak.
That's why we need to vote. That's why we need to win. That's why we need to make it so that there is no question. Make it too big to rig. We have to turn up and turn out in the midterms and beyond in every race, large and small, from school boards to state reps to state houses to Congress to the presidency. Like, we need the numbers we've seen in these No Kings protests. 8 million people showed up on Saturday to say we don't do kings here. We need that kind of show of democracy to keep coming through every single day, all the way until January 20th, 2029, when we have a new president, a Democratic president, someone who's going to unfuck so much of the things they fucked up, someone who is going to have hearings and demand accountability, and we will actually have consequences and repercussions, which was one of the original mistakes we made in the past. We did not hold these people to the fire. They were not punished for what they did, and they got away with it, which is why they were able to come back and do it again. And we have to make sure that that never happens again. So yeah, I don't think we have any hope for Republicans as they exist right now, but I have so much hope in everybody else in this country, and I have so much hope in everybody in this chat, that we will prevail in this midterm and then beyond.
Two quick comments. One, I just want to say to the trolls that are contributing to the chat here, I want to thank you for contributing, because for the most part we're accustomed to seeing your nonsense and we do ignore you. We're not going to put any of your shit on the screen, but I'm thanking you because regardless of what you say, if you say something nasty or something positive, you are contributing to helping the algorithm. So we appreciate you're watching, you're giving us the views, and B, you're contributing to the chat is also helping the show. So thank you so kindly for that. And
We appreciate
what I wanted to say was during his first term, I remember people were saying that in order for people to be okay with Republicans to be okay with impeaching him, his approval rating would have to drop into the 20s. I don't know how, if that was a long time ago. A lot has happened since then. I don't know if that rule still remains, but that's something to watch because he just recently dropped to 33% in
29
some
as
polls.
of today.
Oh no, really?
29. Yeah, as of
Holy
today.
shit. Here we go. I don't know now. Head of lettuce or
right. Well, Mike Johnson is putting that DHS funding bill up in the House, which is major. Like,
really? I just saw that he said no to that. No, so now he's back.
The one that doesn't fund ICE, but it funds the rest of DHS, and that's a major buck. So maybe, but it's a tall hill to climb for sure. I guess maybe like last thing before we literally go, I just want to add this one thought because everything is so bleak, and I know that it's maybe silly. I saw Hail Mary. We talked about this. It was so good. It was so good. Did you see it yet?
Not yet. Project Hail Mary with Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, it's so good. It put me in like this very space geeky place. The Artemis launch yesterday, I have cried 100 times watching these things. Like somebody posted video from an airplane. I've seen videos from somebody's backyard. It's so beautiful and so cool. And like, I don't know, we need these moments. That was so good. So good. My kids have seen it twice. They want to go for a third time. I've seen it only once. So good. And such a wonderful departure from all of the like.
I can't wait to see it.
So good. You got to go see it. But the Artemis thing was really cool. And like, it's not Trump's mission. I'm not giving him credit for jack shit. I love this crew. It's incredibly diverse tapestry that really represents America, and that makes me super proud. And there's something very kind of humbling and sort of perspective providing about these moments that are bigger than the stuff that we are dealing with down here every day that is important. But sometimes when stuff like that happens, it gives me a different view that's like, okay, you know what? We can do this. We can get through this. And there's bigger things still happening. Life still goes on. And we're capable of incredible things. So I just wanted to say that.
Let's end on that note. That is lovely. Yeah. I love it.
It's pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty cool. Like,
it is.
I don't know. I'm a dork for this stuff, but yeah. Anyway.
I'm with you all the way.
Yeah. Well, with that, thank you, everybody in the chat. Thank you, Brooklyn, for accommodating my time change today. With that, that concludes this episode of the Joe and BDD show. We're going to do some chair dancing on our way out. Thank you guys. Make sure you follow us on the SirenNetwork.com. Follow Brooklyn on Substack at Defiant Dispatches. Defiant Dispatches, right? My brain just did a thing.
That's right.
Yes. And make sure you check out his show on YouTube every Wednesday.
Wednesday at 6:30 in the PM Eastern Time.
Yeah. And thank you guys. Yeah. The only way out is through, and the only way through is together. And we couldn't do this without any of you. So grateful. And thanks to Sam, as always, in the back of the house. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, you guys.
Chair dancing.